Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. Bum, ba, dun, ba, dun, ba, dun. Dun, 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 dun. Ba, dun, 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 dun. Bum, 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 bum. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 boom, 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 boom. I am good YouTuber. I am good YouTuber. Everybody loves me. Yes, yes, they do. Well, I'm live. I'm certainly live. All right, let's get into this. All right. The hell is barbarian ring? Ah. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to my new deck. All right, today we got a special deck because it's kind of like one of my favorite decks of all time, Rakdos, Lord of Riots. That all it cares about is dealing massive damage to your opponents and making your stuff cost less mana for doing it. I mean, it's pretty even, it's pretty fair. Sometimes you're even dealing damage to yourself, but today we are specifically dealing damage only to ourselves. All right, no pain, no game, with this week's deck being Rowan, Scion of War. But before we get into it, please make sure to like and subscribe. It means a whole lot to me. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and I'd love to get there before the end of the year. But, all right, Rowan, Scion of War. It's a 3-mana 4/2 with Menace, and you can tap it, and spells you cast this turn that are black and or red cost X less to cast, where X is the amount of life you lost this turn, and activate only as a sorcery. So, you're just going to be dealing massive damage to yourself and using it as the biggest benefit of all. So, what do you need to do? You just need to do massive damage to yourself. So, you got things like Wall of Blood, Treacherous Ogre, Stormfist Crusader, just gets you a little bit of cards and makes you lose a bit of life. You got Soul Drinker. You have so many cards. Razaketh the Foul Blooded, Mere Convert, Molten Steel Dragon, Mischievous Poltergeist. Keen Duelist can also just deal massive damage to you out of nowhere, which is insane. Crick, Son of Yawgmoth, allows you to pay for the colored mana symbols instead of just, having to pay all the life for all the mana. Uh, you also have stuff like Immolating Soul Eater, Hex Parasite, Deepwood Ghoul. Dark Confidant was also like Keen Duelist, but, just a little bit different. And Blood Celebrant, you're able to just use a lot of these creatures to just make you pay a whole bunch of life and make all your stuff cost infinitely less to cast. I mean, stuff like Soul Channeling as well, Phyrexian Arena, giving you cards while you lose life. Descendant Avernus also does the same. Dark Tutelage, Market Connections, and Bitter Blossom. They all give you some benefit while at the same time making you pay life to then be able to tap Rowan, Scion of War, and make all your stuff cost basically colored mana in order to play. But why don't we throw in a bunch of X spells in there? I mean, Commune with Lava gives you card advantage. Comet Storm deals massive damage to your opponents just for Lord knows like nothing. Apex of Power gives you card advantage, like insane card advantage, but also nets you mana because Rowan, Scion of War also makes it cost basically 3 red to get 10 mana and 7 cards from the top of your library, and you may cast spells from among them. This Crackle with Power also deals 5 times X damage to each of our targets. Let's say you do, what was it? You crack yourself for 33 damage, divide that by 3, which makes it 11 each. 5 times 11, that's 55 damage to each opponent. That's insane levels of damage. Diabolic Revelation, also, you just get to search your library for, I mean, let's say you've dealt 5 damage to yourself for 2 black mana, search for 2 cards. Insane. Hey, Super Fast Tortoise as well. Go check him out as well. We're talking deck text today. It's insane. Exsanguinate also just drains your opponents for massive amounts of life. You gain life equal to the life lost this way. I think that's pretty cool. I mean, you could drain yourself for, let's say, I don't know, 39 life. You're down to 1 life left. You train your opponents for 39, they're at 1 or they're at none, and then you gain 39 times 3, which is 107? Did I do that math right? 107? Yeah. That's just insane. No, 117. Math is hard, guys. Math is hard. Giants Immolating Inferno, you can deal X damage up to 3 targets. You can, nuke everybody for, 30 something damage. That's insane value. Everybody wants to just nuke the table for that. Or let's just say you drain all your life and all of a sudden, you don't have any life anymore. Why don't we play a card like Repaying Kind? And each player's life total becomes the lowest players. You're at like 1 life. You can just pew pew everybody for 1. All of a sudden, you just won the game by having 2 mana and making all your opponent's life totals being yours. Or Bloodletter of Ecclesot. If an opponent would lose life during their turn, they lose twice that much life instead. And Repaying Kind also causes it to be loss of life as well. So they lose twice that amount of life. They just die with a 2 card combo that if you tap a Rowan Sign of War for if you at least took 5 damage this turn, I mean, if you're down to basically nothing, then guess what? For 5 mana, you have just destroyed the whole table for absolutely nothing. But we do need some sort of life gain because there kind of has to be. Why not have there's 2 infinite combos in this by having Urbrask because Urbrask is broken. This deals infinite damage and also gains you infinite life with Aetherflux Reservoir. Because cast a spell, you gain 1 life for each spell you cast this turn, and you may pay 50 life and it deals 50 damage to target creature or player. Your stuff suddenly costs 50 less to cast, deals 50 damage to target creature or player, which probably kills a player. And then you can play, I don't know, Comet Storm, and it costs, 50 less to play. So you automatically get 50 into X. I think that's pretty insane. But with Aetherflux Reservoir, Urabrask, and either Searing Touch or Haze of Rage, for Haze of Rage, you need your stuff discounted by 3. With Searing Touch, you need your stuff discounted by 4. By having this, you have suddenly gained infinite. For Searing Touch, it's infinite damage. For Haze of Rage, it's just infinite cast triggers, but it doesn't matter because Urabrask says whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, it deals 1 damage to target opponent, and you add a red. And because of those buyback costs, you can do it over and over again, dealing infinite damage. Obviously, we have some of the really big, like removal spells, all that. Vendetta makes you lose life equal to the creature's toughness, which turns on Rowan. Snuff for life and just destroy a non-black creature without paying this thing's cost. Uh, Plunge into Darkness just does a whole lot. It's a modal spell. Everybody loves it. March of Reckless Joy gives you more card advantage. Infernal Grasp and Dismember just gets rid of a bunch of creatures. Deadly Rollick is just way too good and not adding the deck, so that's just me. Blood Pact also just allows you to draw a couple cards, lose a couple life. It's pretty good. Bit of Triumph also, you can pay 3 life to destroy a creature or planeswalker. Yes, sir. We all love that. Big score also, just 1 red mana, discard a card, draw 2 cards, and create 2 treasures. You net mana with it. It's insane. You got a bunch of the other stuff, card advantage, like Pirate's Pillage. It's the exact same thing as Big Score. Jessica's Will gives you more card advantage with more mana to pay that pesky mana symbols, because that's always the problem with stuff like Rakdos and this Rowan Sign of War, is you have to actually pay the colored mana symbols. We hate colored mana over here. This stuff like Inspired Tinkering allows you to just get a lot more card advantage, and this creates 3 treasure tokens instead. Feed the Swarm deals you damage even more because we love it. Demonic Tutor, just for getting one of your combo pieces, maybe an Urbrask, maybe you want to play Stormkill Artist, just one of the cards. It can get you whatever card you want to just immediately make your stuff cost infinite less. Ambitions cost, draw 3 cards, lose 3 life. That sounds pretty fair. I think this deck seems pretty fair by itself. 1,000-Year Elixir allows you to untap Rowan because obviously you want your stuff to cost insane less. Talisman Indulgence for a little, just for a little hoo-ha. Patriarch Seal allows you to tap for even more mana, Or you can untap Rowan whenever you have that pop off turn. Staff of Completion also just pays a bunch of life to do just whatever. You can get card advantage, you can get mana, you can destroy a permanent you own. Because why not? Why wouldn't you? Sting the Glinting Dagger, also, you think this is kind of weird. This is such a weird addition. It's a Voltron piece. It has +1/+1 haste at the beginning of each combat, untap equipped creature. I mean, heck, I don't mind tapping Rowan once and then tapping it again next turn. This seems insane. I am including Mana Crypt in this too, just to, rush out a lot of your early game stuff because obviously you can get rid of this. These decks tend to be more shells instead of just full-fledged decks. You can take them, you can get rid of some of the expensive stuff, add in some of the different cards that you want in it. These are shells. Whatever you want to do with it, you can do them with it. Majorite Stone also allows you to untap Rowan as well. Lightning Greaves to immediately tap Rowan as soon as it gets out. An Arcane Signet to wrap it all up. So we don't care about the lands over here, even though there are some pretty funny ones in there. Obviously, all the like shock lands, fetch lands, Barbarian Ring that deals damage to you. I mean, you're dealing the most amount of damage to yourself than your opponents are going to deal to you. But having an average mana curve of 3.13, it's a little high, but it's also because all your stuff is going to cost less. Here's the color distribution. Look at that perfect 50-50 of mana producers. Insane. But this is no pain, no gain. If you guys like the deck, please make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Hi, Tortoise. Hi. You realize I make the videos literally while I stream, and then in the middles of them, I can just sit there and, you know, talk to people, figure things out. I have what is it? Because including that one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've made 8 decks in the past 2 weeks, and I get to talk about them today because these are the videos that I like to post on Wednesdays to have a Wednesday deck day kind of deal. Uh, and then I'm actually going to be making a second video based on this deck because I'm not going to go through every single infinite combo in this. Uh, yeah, it's fun. Yeah, this deck I specifically made to literally have as many infinite combos in it as possible. I believe most of the cards in here are infinites, except like Worldly Tutor, which gets one of the combo pieces, bringing them back from the graveyard, protecting the combo pieces, getting more combo pieces, getting more combo pieces. Uh, what is this? Yeah, getting more combo pieces, getting the back from the graveyard, getting it back from the graveyard, and ramping into it. Besides, like, those cards, like, every single card in this deck contributes towards some sort of infinite combo. I oh my gosh, it's awesome. And then maybe, like, the Ozolith doesn't. Yeah, I think and then, Soul Ring. Um, Technically, Lightning Greaves is part of an infinite combo because it has to be at sorcery speed, but it does technically create an infinite combo. This is so fun. Arcane Signet doesn't include it, but even like Llanowar Elves, like Llanowar Elves, Findhorn Elves, Elvish Mystic, Dryad Arbor, Birds of Paradise, Avacyn's Pilgrim, Arbor Elf. Technically, because of Arbor Elf, all right, because of Arbor Elf, the lands are also part of. Well, some of the lands are part of the Infinite combo, so even stuff like Cinderglade can be part of the Infinite combo. There's just way too many, and I wanted to make a video just showing off the deck, and then having a second video of me compiling what I believe could be every single infinite combo that you can make in this deck. It would be insane. It would take me forever to do. And sitting there being like, oh, well, there's a card which combos with this card and this card and this card. And there's upwards of 5, 6 card combos that go infinite. They either do infinite damage or they do infinite something, but some of them are just way too out there. I mean, Emblem of the Warmind. Such a weird card. It's cool, but you have to put it on Marith, Will of the Wild. It's weird. Naya is fun colors. Naya is fun. Um, what else? Um, this, yeah. Let's just get into making the video. Have you ever wanted to come to a table and say, "I want to create an infinite combo, but I don't even know which cards combo with"? Well, I got the deck for you. That's Naya deck with infinite potential. I call it that because almost, I have to emphasize almost every single card in this contributes towards an infinite combo in some way. It's absolutely insane. Even most of the lands are contributed towards it. I'm not going to be going through every single infinite combo in this. That's going to be a whole separate video, but I just want to show you guys the deck. And if you like this video, you can go check out the other video that I'm probably going to post the Saturday after this. But before we get into it, please make sure to like and subscribe. Comment down below what your favorite infinite, or if you find an infinite in this, let me know in it. The bigger the infinite, like the one that has the most cards, probably wins, and I'll give it a heart and a like. But I'm on the road to 1,000 subscribers. It'd be awesome if I can get to it before the end of the year. But on to the deck with infinite potential with Marith, Will of the Wild. For Naya, it's a 0/0. Enters battlefield, number of 1/1 counters on it equal to the amount of mana spent to cast it. And then you can pay X and remove X 1/1 counters from this, and you choose one. Either put X 1/1 counters on target creature. This deals X damage to target creature or player, or create an XX green elemental creature token on the battlefield. All right. There was an errata text on this, which made me want to build this even more because they errated it by saying that X cannot be 0. Yeah, right here. X cannot be 0. So you'd think, because originally what you can just do is play Marith and have an anthem, let's say Sylvan Anthem, for example, and you can just infinitely get 0/0s that are now 1/1s because of the anthem effect, and it's a turn 3 infinite power, and it was just too strong, so they eroded it, saying that X can't be 0. So we'd have to make X at least 1 every single time we activate it, and just it gets insane from there. I mean, pay X, remove X 1/1 counters from it, and put X on 1/1 counters on target creature. Well, you have to pay the mana, but if you have a 1/1 counter doubler, for example, like doubling season or primal vigor out, you can theoretically get infinite 1/1 counters, but you have to pay the mana for it. So why not make a way to get infinite mana for it? But that's going to be topics for another video. Just want to show you guys the deck and see if you guys can find any weird combos with it for it. I do know some of the cards that do not contribute towards infinite combos are things like the Ozolith, Soul Ring, what is it? Ozolith the Shattered Spire, I believe doesn't. Lightning Greaves does, and if you can find the combo with Lightning Greaves, then I will clap to you. It's hilarious. It's technically infinite, but at sorcery speed, it can go infinite. Arcane Signet doesn't, but what else? There are a few that don't. Obviously, you have the if you say Scurry Oak and Rosy Cotton of South Lane as the infinite, I hate to say everybody knows that combo. It's really simple, really easy, infinite creatures. But we have stuff like Perforos, God of Forge. Technically could, in a way. I believe it can with Agatha's Soul Cauldron. Um, I haven't quite tested it out and figured out if you could yet with it. Ogre Battle Driver is also included with it. But things that I know for a fact aren't infinite. The tutors like Imperial Recruiter, Worldly Tutor, Enlightened Tutor, and Eladomri's Call, Collected Company as well, I don't believe are part of infinite combos. Eternal Witness, Nauseous Revival, uh, Unnatural Restoration, Regrowth definitely aren't. So yeah, the ramp pieces, like I said, Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Nature's Lore, Farseek, they aren't part of it because it's just ramp to getting into your combo pieces. Uh, Archdruid's Charm is again just a tutoring up something. You basically choose your favorite combo piece with a lot of these uh, fetch stuff, and you just make a combo out of thin air. I mean, even the enchantments. Have you? When's the last time you've seen Cryptolith right? Uh huh. But there is an infinite combo with it. But you also need like three other cards to make it go infinite. I mean, it's the exact same thing as Song of Freyalise until your next turn. Creatures you control gain tap, add one mana of any color. I mean, that technically goes infinite with things as well, and you can find it there. But it technically isn't an infinite combo. It is just kind of a one card combo, but it is a way to win the game. You can, on an opponent's end step, go infinite and then win the game with this card. And if you can also find that combo, I clap to you. This deck is hilarious. The amount of ways it won't counter. Master Chef also goes infinite, part of an infinite combo. I mean, Goblin Bombardment, obviously, there's so many different ways to go infinite with this. But one of my favorite cards in this that I almost didn't add until I realized how funny it was Rite of Passage. 3 mana enchantment. Whenever creature control is dealt damage, put a 1/1 counter on it. There are, I believe, 2 combos in this that and there might be 3 infinites with it. I don't remember. You can add more frenzy stuff in it, but at least I know with, I'll give you a hint, Walking Ballista, you can have Walking Ballista shoot itself in the foot so many different times while having cards like Primal Vigor or it's Primal Vigor, Hardened Scales, branching evolution. I believe there's another yeah, doubling season. You can literally use the walking ballista's ability to shoot itself in the foot, and it infinitely grows from there because it doubles the amount of woman counters it gets. So you can remove one of the woman counters to give it 2 more woman counters, and it just infinitely shoots itself in the foot. It's hilarious and insane. And if you guys really want me to go through that video and explain every single infinite combo in this, I'm probably going to do it anyway, but like and subscribe anyway because I like to see the support, and comment down below your favorite infinite combo that you, and if you find an infinite combo that I don't know of, then yeah, I love it. It's hilarious. You can deal infinite damage, create infinite creatures, infinite mill in this, make an infinitely big creature. You can do anything you want in this deck. It's hilarious. Having an average mana value of 2.47 also isn't that bad. That's not a lot. There's the color distribution of the deck. And if you guys liked the video, please make sure to like and subscribe. And I guess with this infinite potential, I'll see you guys in the next deck tech. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-da-bum-ba. I believe Agatha of the Vile Cauldron is also not one as well. Oh yeah, Earthcraft untaps basic lands, which means 4, 7, so 10 out of the 31 lands become infinite combo pieces. But Arbor Elf includes, hold on, this is hilarious. They include 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Oh, but with Yavimaya Cradle of Growth, does that just say an Arbor Elf? Yep. All right. So even more combos. I'm literally coming up with combos on the spot. So with Yavimaya Cradle of Growth out, Arbor Elf allows the infinite mana gain, allows an infinite mana gain because all your lands are forests in addition types. So, oh my gosh, this deck is hilarious. I love it. I love it so much. You, because you have to be able to create infinite creatures with Marith, but each creature has to have haste and the ability to tap for mana, which, but you also need to have what? Oh, which one was Cathar's Crusade to put the 1/1 counters on Marith in order for you to be able to spend the counters to create a 1/1 green elemental creature token that untaps a forest that allows you to tap it and remove a 1/1 counter uh, from Marith to create another elemental that does the exact same. So you, but in order for you to be able to tap forests for it, so you have to have Marith, Agatha's Soul Cauldron with Arbor Elf in the graveyard. You need Cathar's Crusade, Cryptolith Rite, or Song of Freyalise out. The lands a land in order to do it. So Yavimaya, Cradle of Growth. Um, what else? Is that the 5-card combo? Um, yeah, and then something that gives haste. Let's say Emblem of the Warmind. So that's 6 cards to go infinite. To create infinite creatures, all right? And then if you want infinite and then a kill, you need either Impact Tremors, Goblin Bombardment, um, what is it? Impact Tremors, Goblin Bombardment, Perforos, God of the Forge, War Leader's Call. Oh my gosh, it's absolutely nuts how much there's so many like that was a 7-card combo that kills your opponent. All right. It is a 7-card combo that is a really absurd way to just d- annihilate your opponent infinitely. And if they get rid of any of the combo pieces, you now have to replace one of the combo pieces with another one. Also, I even forgot Conclave Mentor just is the exact same thing as Hardened Scales. So, oh my gosh. Or if you wanted to go infinitely big, do that infinite creature gain, whatever. But then if you have Marith out and a Hardened Scales, for example, you now have created infinitely big creatures, which turns on Maya's area, which then makes you win the game. Insanity is what this is. Absolute insanity. I love it. And then we immediately switch over to a really dumb deck that is funny. It is funny. Funny ha-has. Is my cat playing this stuff? Hey, stop that. Stop it, stupid cat. Stop. All right, on to the next one. All right. This is it's not even Cheerios. It's like do you like playing blue? Do you like blue doing blue things? Well, if I got the deck for you, and it's really cheap, like really, really cheap. Before I started making this video, I started recording it. This was less than $60, but card prices change weekly, so it's just over $60. But it is you'd think it's pre-con level, but at the end of the day, this thing is so much better than like all pre-cons. It's insane. It has insane card advantage, card choices, gets you whatever you want, and then just bops your opponent's face for infinite, basically, without actually. But it's unblockable damage, so who cares? But before we get into the video, please make sure to like and subscribe. And if you do, put a comment down below if you would totally buy this deck if it was a pre-con. But thank you guys so much. I'm on the road to 1,000 subscribers. If we can get it to it before the end of the year, that would be awesome. But now, time to Octavia Living Thesis. For 10 mana, it's an 8/8, but it costs it costs 8 less to cast if you have 8 or more instant and sorcery cards in your graveyard. So we're just going to be playing every instant and sorcery we could possibly think of and play this for 2 mana. It also has Ward 8, which basically means it has hexproof. And whenever you cast a spell or cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, target creature has base power and toughness 8/8 until end of turn. So why don't we just make them unblockable? Stuff like Blighted Agent, that's a bop bop. That's unblockable infect right there. Cephalid Face Tail also can't be blocked. The Chasm Skulker also just is insane, and people are going to want to block it, but then you get a bunch of 1/1 Island Walkers, and a lot of people play blue, if you haven't noticed. Curious Homunculus is just funny because your instant sorceries cost less to cast. Ghostly Pilfer, you can make it unblockable by discarding a card. Discarding, I don't know, an instant or sorcery card. That's what I'm just saying. You can then turn on the Octavia, make this unblockable, and turn it into an 8/8. Guttle Lurker, one of my favorite cards of all time. Can't be blocked. 1/1 can turn into 8/8. Haughty Jin, I mean, 8/8. Evil Stalker, 8/8. Looter Il Core, Shadow, 8/8. Right there. Deals combat damage to player, put a chorus counter on it, the draw card, the discard card, and you may cast the discard card without paying its mana cost if you want to, but 8/8 flyer. Mercurial Spelldancer, unblockable, 8/8. Mistcloak Herald, unblockable. Murmuring Mystic creates a bunch of 1/1 flying birds that can beat 8/8s. Nidir Kraken creates a bunch of 1/1s that can turn into 8/8s. Picklock Prankster, Ornithopter of Paradise. The Terramander. Have you ever seen this card before? I certainly have it. But you can make it a base power and toughness 8/8, and with adapt, it puts 4/1 counters on it, which makes it a 12/12 flyer for 1 mana. Well, you have to pay the 8 in order to adapt it, but oh, whatever. Reservoir Kraken, just your opponents are almost always going to make 1/1 fish that this creature can't be blocked. You just turn them into 8/8s. All of a sudden, you're swinging in with 8/8s. Siren Storm Tamer, 8/8 flyer. Slitherblade, unblockable. Spectral Sailor, it's a flyer that also allows you to draw cards. Talaran Summoner creates flyers. Thieving Skydiver is flyer and steals equipments. Triton Shore Stalker, unblockable. All your stuff is made to bop your opponents. Blue does blue things today. We're actually not even adding a lot of artifacts in this. I think the most expensive cards in this uh, are probably Soul Ring and Glamdring. I mean, Glamdring just says equipped creature gets first strike and +1/+0 for each instant sorcery in your graveyard. That's just really good because you're going to be putting a lot of instant sorceries in graveyard. And deals combat damage to a player. You may cast an instant or sorcery from your hand without its mana value, with mana value less than or equal to the damage without paying its mana cost. So you can go bop bop with a Glamdring and play a Rise from the Tides and create a bunch of creatures. I think that's pretty cool. Runechant Pick, also first strike plus X+0, where X is the number of instant sorceries in your graveyard. So, what are the instant sorceries? You're playing all the cantrips in the game. Brainstorm, Consider, Obsessive Search, Opt, Peek. Look at target player's hand and draw a card. Sure, why not? Quicken makes a sorcery spell be flashed until end of turn. Uh, I mean, you have just so many. You come to the river, something becomes unblockable. Why not make Octavia unblockable? I don't know. Maybe you could. You could do paired with Octavia, Runechanter's Pick, and you come to river. You can deal somebody a bunch of commander damage. I don't know. Unauthorized exit. Bounce stuff, thought scour, mill yourself and draw a card. Snap is just a free spell. Saw it. I mean, you're even playing counter spells like Saw It Coming. Where are the other ones? The I think Saw It Coming is about it. But filter out, return all creature non-land permanents to their owner's hand. Insane. You're not playing a lot of them. I mean, you're playing 4 enchantments, 5 artifacts, and a battle. I mean, there's blue does blue things in this. They're playing a lot of free spells, playing a lot of just really cheap, dumb spells that draw you cards, replace themselves. I mean, reality shift, some removal, the resculpt, some counter spells. Tome Scour, you mill yourself for 5, put more instant sorceries in your graveyard. I mean, you're currently running 37 instants and sorceries. You're gonna put 8 in there at some point. I mean, literally all of these, besides like Rise from the Tides, is just they replace themselves or remove a creature. or make your opponents cry because this deck is not fair. Because why would it be fair? Because that's boring. But also, you play Rise from the Tides and then Candlekeep Inspiration. Till end of turn, creatures you control have base power and toughness XX, where X is the number of cards you own in exile in your graveyards that are instants, sorceries, and or an adventure. So you can make your creatures basically infinitely big because you're gonna have at least 8 uh into sorceries in your graveyard. So you have infinite 8/8s with Rise from the Tides. It's amazing. And because of how cheap this deck is, this is probably one of the cheapest way to annoy your friends, annoy your opponents, and just make them say, I don't want to play the game with you anymore. But having an average mana of 1.96, that's included some of the discounts, like Octavia, you're almost always playing for 2 mana. But obviously, color distribution is only blue because blue does the blue things. But if you liked the video, please make sure to like and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next video if you don't immediately get hosed down by your other players. But thank you guys so much for watching. All right, on to next deck. I am what, 3 down, 5 more to go. Whew! Even one of the decks I'm gonna be talking about, which is my Taysa Karlov deck, I finished like yesterday. I literally sat down and just went, I'm finishing this. I want to do 8 videos in one day. This is the most videos I'm ever gonna record ever in a day. And I might be out of this within like an hour or an hour and a half, which is crazy. But hi guys in the chat. Do you say hi? Then hi. We're talking mama bears today. Best part is I have 4 bears in the deck with Wilson, Refined Grizzly. What else? There's Wilson. Um, where are the other bears? Bears. Where the bears? I'm not playing a lot of bears. Rampaging Yale Guai? Sure, we'll say that. Uh oh my gosh, there's like no bears. The best part is they're all tutus. I think there's only one card in this that is a tutu, and it's this because it puts a bunch of 1/1 counters on things because it's way too good. Bears. Everything's a bear. The amount of 2 mana tutus. Running 25 2 mana cards. It's insane. But everything's a 2/2 because it cares about creatures with base power and tough too. And they get +3/+3. So instead of tutus, they're 5/5s. And we want tutus to be 5/5s. And you also draw a buttload of cards in this. But let's probably get into this. No lions, no tigers, but bears. Little known fact in Magic, bears are tutus for 2. We're not just going to be playing a bunch of tutus for 2. We're going to be playing tutus because a bear is a tutu. So, before we get into this video talking about bears, please make sure to like and subscribe and comment down below what your favorite bear is. If it could be an actual bear or it could be a tutu. Either way. With Descana, the Rage Mother, but I'm on the road to 1,000 subscribers, so if we get there before the end of the year, I might make a really special video. I don't know. But Descana, the Rage Mother. It's a 5 mana 5/5, enters the battlefield, draw a card for each creature you control with base power and toughness 2/2. Whenever a creature with base power and toughness 2/2 attacks, gets +3/+3 until end of turn. So we are playing. I think the only creatures that aren't tutus in this are Descana and then Sovereign Okinek. Uh, that. Yeah. This is a 3/4, obviously more too, but it's just too good. Whenever this attacks for each creature you control with power greater than the creature's base power, put a number of 1/1 counters on that creature equal to the difference. So basically what you do is you play it, then on the next turn you play Descana, and then You attack with a bunch of your tutus, like Wilson, refined grizzly. Look at him. He's just a bear. He's a tutu. But then Sovereign Okanek suddenly goes, uh-oh, your tutus are now 5/5s, but the base power and toughness are 2/2. Meaning we put 3/1 counters on them. You're swinging with 8/8s. Just a whole lot of 8/8s. Isn't it so much fun? And I normally hate on Solemn Simulacrum, but it's a 2/2. So you kind of got to add it. And if you hate this video because I say that I don't like Solemn Simulacrum, then you know what? Let me know in the comments because yeah, it's literally literally every single card in this is a 2/2. One way or another, it is a 2/2. And we're even playing Collector Oof because activate abilities for artifacts can be activated, but you are only playing 6 of them, and they're just Mana Rocks or Aether Vial. You know, Aether Vial is a good card. By was it play this turn 1? By turn 3, you can play all your tutus you ever have in your hand ever, because by then you're gonna be wanting to play 3 mana stuff. But Aether Vial says, no, no, no. I want to play 2 mana thing on your opponent's turn. Absolutely fun. But these tutus in there, each of them do different things. If you wanna pause and see which ones they are, if you wanna know which cards do what, by all means you can. I mean, stuff like Spawn Wraith, one of my favorite cards because it reminds me of Giant Ataphage, deals combat damage to a player. Put a token that's a copy of Spawn Wraith on the battlefield. I think it's neat. But yeah, if you want to pause the video and look at all the tutus that are in the deck, by all means, we care more about the things that make them not tutus. Like War Leader's Call. It's an anthem effect that also, creature enters battlefield under your control, deals 1 damage to each opponent. Virtue of Loyalty creates a 2/2, beginning of your counter on each creature you control, and untap those creatures. So like Vigilance, also 1/1 counters. Tribute to the World Tree. Oh, creature enters battlefield under your control, draw a card if its power is 3 or greater, which is only 2 creatures in the deck. Otherwise, put 2/1 counters on it. You can pay 2 mana for a 4/4. That's always fun. Rhythm of the Wild makes them either have haste or enter with 1/1 counters on them, and they can't even be countered. Who's going to want to counter a 2 mana creature? Oh, I hope nobody. Fable of the Mirror Breaker creates a 2/2 and eventually flips into a 2/2. That sounds like a bear to me. Beastmaster Ascension. Eventually, you attack with enough creatures, and your 2/2s become 7/7s. They're probably not going to be 2/2s anyway, but +5/5 is insane. Apparently, also with the Sovereign Oak and that thingamajig, whatever. Assemble the players. You can just cast creatures with power 2 or less from the top of your library. That's all of them. That's literally all of them. It's insane. Unexplained Absence gives you a 2/2, but you exile all your opponent's stuff as well. You can just get rid of, I don't know, Charming Prince, for example. You're probably going to flicker something when it enters, and then all of a sudden it's just a generic 2/2. Why not make it a potentially different 2/2? But it enters 2/2 cloaked creature. Intriguing, am I right? Furious Protection. Obviously, it's just too good. Swords of Plowshare, Stroke of Midnight, just removal stuff. Intervention keeps all your tutus on the field. Flawless maneuver as well. Ephemerate, you can ephemerate the Duskanaw and gain a boatload of freaking card advantage. Cloud Shift does the exact same thing. Chroma's Will, end the game because all your tutus are swinging in as, like, let's say 7/7s, and you can just a Chroma's Will, gain all that life, kill your opponent by the glory of the 2/2. Even we're adding a planeswalker in it. I normally don't like adding planeswalkers in decks because I feel like they're too slow, but giving yourself a 2/2 every turn with that 0 ability is really good. Or you can eventually just +1, add X mana of any color, a combination of red or green, where X the number of creatures you control. It's pretty cool. And eventually, if you need card advantage, -6, exile the top 7 cards of your library, you can put any number of creatures and or lands from among them on the battlefield. That's most of them. I mean, you only have what? 16 was not including the planeswalker, 16, 23, 29 of your 99 cards are creatures or lands, or non-creatures, non-lands. That I know how to speak. Triumph of the Hordes immediately allows you to just kind of win the game on the spot with making all of them a trample because an infecting trample tutu is terrifying. Three visits, Nature's Lore, and Farseek just ramp you a whole bunch of mana. Sylvan Awakening turns your line, makes all your tutus 5/5s with trample till end of turn. Amazing. Fourth Fourth Earlingus. That's how you say that. We're gonna go with that. You can just create a bunch of tutus, and whenever creature control deals combat damage to one or more players this turn, you become the monarch. Monarch card advantage. Neat. But yeah, stuff like Adeline Jackal. You just a whole bunch of just tutus galore, and your average mana value being 2.78. That's a pretty good deal, if I do say so myself. This is the color distribution of the deck, producing a little bit more green than white, a little bit more white than red, because honestly, there aren't a lot of red cards in this, but you still want it either way. But if you guys like the video, please make sure to like, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next Deck Tech. Bum 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 bum. Uh-oh. Buddy Nick sent me a video. He's such an idiot. Hey guys. Also, by the way, I'm recording this on Easter. So if you're watching this on Easter. Oh my gosh, he's building his models. Because of course he is. He just needs to build those, for the love of God. Build them. Yup. Oh, get rid of you. Now this deck was sent in by somebody, and they asked me in particular. Their name is literal giant adaphage, and they said, "Hey, your second favorite card of all time? I'm making a deck based on it." And then I actually let him see the deck beforehand, and he said, "Oh my gosh, this is so much better than any of the ideas for the deck I could ever think of." And I said, "Yay! Hooray!" Oh, well, we should probably get into it soon. Got to remind myself of a few good cards. Guys, I just want to say, my if you haven't seen my favorite cards of all time, please go check out that video because we are talking about card number 2 today. Is it a good card? No, it is not. Is it a great card? No, it is not. Is it a bad card? That's debatable, but it's one of my favorites. But before we get into the video talking about this big bug, please make sure to like and subscribe and comment down below what your favorite cards are, and I might, give it a like and a star or whatever. I won't even talk about the commander first. We're going to talk about the key card in it. Giant Adaphage. Second favorite card of all time. I love this card. It's a 7 mana 7/7 with trample. Deals combat damage to a player. Create a token that's a copy of Giant Adaphage. So it bonks your opponent and then creates another one. Those two bonk opponents create even more. You now have 4 of them, and you've bonked twice. If they remove it, no, they never will. This is such a it's a low powered deck, but also not low powered. Like a lot of my decks. They're the really janky things that do one thing, but the one thing it does is so good at doing that one thing that it can't be called jank. I mean, even the commander, Roko, Caterer, is Naya and X 3/1 enters the battlefield. If you cast it, you may search your library for a creature card with mana value X or less and put it on the battlefield, then shuffle. It's a tutor as a commander. So we're going to be tutoring out Giant Adaphage. But Giant Adaphage costs 7 mana to play. I mean, if you do immediately get it out with Roko or my third favorite card, Natural Order, we just need to ramp into getting 7 mana, and that's really difficult to do. But with this, it is nothing but ramp in order to just get out all your stuff and always have Giant Ataphage out, thinning your deck, getting the Giant Ataphage. I mean, all your ramp stuff. 3 visits, Sky Shroud Claim, Nature's Lore, Migration Path, Kodama's Reach, Farseek, Explore, Cultivate. What are the other ones? There's more. I know there's more. Entish Restoration, Wood Elves, Sucker Tribe Elder, Nyx Bloom Ancient just triples your mana out of nowhere. Llanowar Elves, Findhorn Elves, Dryad of the Elysian Grove, Dockside Extortionist, Birds of Paradise, Avacyn's Pilgrim, Arbor Elf, all of the Conduit of Ruin allows you to play lands from your graveyard. Because why not? You're playing fetch lands, so why not fetch for the good stuff? Arcane Signet, Soul Ring, Talisman of Unity, Talisman of Impulse, Talisman of Conviction, a Glittering Stockpile, all the mana rocks and dorks and ramp you could ever imagine. Wild Growth, Utopia Sprawl. You have them all. Awakening Zone, Abundant Growth. Just getting to 7 mana has never been easier with this deck. Harrow as well. I mean, it's insane. But once you have Giant Ataphage out, what do you want to do? You want to keep it on the battlefield. Or why not just say, hey, let me bonk with him just this once and watch? So, Anointed Procession, Doubling Season, Parallel Lives, Primal Vigor, Osier Talk, Deepest Foundation, Modric, Glory Dominus, doubles every single token you create from it anyway. Amara Tondrus prevents all combat damage that would be dealt to creature tokens you control. So the moment that you get one of the triggers off of Giant Ataphage, they just can't die. They never will. And if somebody says, "Oh, I bound it to your hand," you find them in real life and take them out back and tell them about the rabbits. I don't know. If you understood that reference, you're probably either old or you're learning about it in high school right now. Selfless Spirit, Selfless Sinner just makes things indestructible till end of turn because Nesting Dovehawk just gets bigger and populates at end of turn. Growing Ranks populates at end of turn, which doubles with all your other stuff. Goblin and Archomancer just makes your stuff cost less because we love it here. General Marhalt Elves Dragon, you control becomes blocked because Giant Ataphage does have trample, so they're probably going to want to block it. It gets +3/+3 until end of turn for each creature blocking it. So somebody could say, "I block it with a bunch of my 4/4s, a bunch of my token 4/4s," and they have to sit there and do math because math is for blockers, and you want them to do all this math. But let's say he manages to get rid of the Giant Ataphage or put it in the graveyard for any reason. Eternal Witness, the regrowth, Balaged Recovery. You need them. You need it. You absolutely do need it. Faithless Looting also just allows you to draw cards very easily, very quickly. Draw 2 cards, discard 2 cards. Just a whole bunch of fun all around. Worldly Tutor tutors it out. And then you basic removal spells too, like Swords of Plowshare, Stroke of Midnight, Generous Gift, just to, get out all this stuff. Elidomary's Call, also creature. Reveal it, put it in your hand. Fun, fun. Boros Charm, doing double strike or giving indestructible. Because double strike, your Giant Ataphage goes bonk bonk. It creates 2 tokens from it now. But then with something like Anointed Procession, you create 4 of them instead. Oh, amazing. Beast Within, also a removal spell. Just so you know. But Unnatural Growth with Giant Ataphage out, oh, it becomes a 14/14 until end of turn with trample. It's insane. Absolutely amazing. But favorite combo in this deck, hands down, is Giant Ataphage with Proud Wild Bonder. Because it says creatures you control with trample have, you may have this creature assign its combat damage as though it weren't blocked. So you will always get a Giant Ataphage trigger every single time you attack with it. It's amazing. I actually made a legacy deck that's based on this. Is it good? No. Is it great? No. Can it win turn 4? Yeah. But with crashing drawbridge also giving haste, just just for little fun, I just kind of added that as just a little fun flavor because I used to have the combo of crashing drawbridge into giant adaphage, and it was just my favorite little thing on the planet. But that's literally all the cards. It is all ramp, tutoring, populating, making giant anaphage bigger. It's absolutely nuts, absolutely insane. Even sundering growth, destroying an artifact or enchantment, and populating some of the removal spells even give you more stuff. And having a mana value, average mana value of 2.72, and having this kind of color distribution, it's just it's fun, it's efficient, it's a fun little thing to just bring to your play group and say, "Hey, I really like this creature and I want to play it even more. I want to play it even more." Uh, then yeah, thank you, Giant Adaphage, for recommending I make this kind of deck because I never would have thought about it until now, and I dedicate the video to you. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys like tech, please make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next deck tech. My roommate, my roommate took his dog out in the middle of the. I found it to be funny. Ugh, Animar. Oh, Animar. It's the discounts at Walmart because we love the discounts at Walmart. No, stop. I pressed the X. Stupid. Hmm. I don't want to start this. I believe that everybody and their mother has made an Animar deck. So I've never built one until now. I made this deck like 10 days ago because I was like, you know what? I just need to rip off the band-aid, build the deck, see how it does. And this deck's toxic as people say. But before we get into the video, please make sure to like and subscribe. I'm on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and if I can get to it before the end of the year, then I don't know, maybe I'll make a special video. You never know. But enough of that. We need to get into Animar, Soul of Elements. It's a teamer colored mana. Yeah. 1/1, protection from white and black, which is insane already. Cast a creature spell, put a 1/1 counter on this. That's pretty cool. And creature spells you cast cost one less to cast for each 1/1 counter on this. Oh, so you know what that means. We're creature ramping today and playing big creatures. We need to ramp into it. So Arcane Signet, stuff like the Talisman of Curiosity and Impulse. We're not adding the other one because we don't have as much of what is it? We don't have as much blue and red, so we're not playing Talisman of Creativity. That's what it is. See, I remember enough cards. But keep the counters with the Ozolith. Great Henge, just putting more 1/1 counters on stuff, drawing cards every time you play a creature. Insane. Swiftfoot Boots, just giving this hexproof just in general, or giving creatures haste because they're going to cost like nothing. Ozolith Shattered Spire, putting more 1/1 counters on Animar. Cloudstone Curio as well, because of course we can go infinite with this deck. You thought I wouldn't make an infinite combo in this deck? Um, you thought wrong then. With either Ulamog the Infinite Gyre, Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger, Wandering Archaic, Void Winnower, uh, Kozilek Butcher of True, was or Artisan of Kozilek. You can go infinite, create infinite ETB triggers, and Warstorm Surge or Impact Tremors just deal infinite damage with it. But it's just fun all around. But yeah, more ramp with stuff like Three Visits, Nature's Lore, and Farseek, because obviously Sylvan Tutoring just giving you more Sylvan Tutor and Worldly Tutor, just getting you more creatures because you're just playing creatures. You're playing 34 of them. I would have liked more, but they're just too good. Some of these other non-creature spells are just way too good. Like Weird Harvest. You just pump all the mana you ever want in it, and then 2 green. Each player searches his or her library for X creature cards, reveal those cards, put them into their hand, and then each player searches his or her library this way, shuffles it. So all you need to do is search. If as long as you have Cloudstone Curio out, and Animar has at least was it 11 counters on it, you just search for, I don't know, Kozilek, Butcher of Truth, and then Artisan of Kozilek, and then suddenly you have all the cards you'd ever want in the game. You then just play everything you'd ever want. It's fun, insane, whatever. Unnatural Restoration also proliferates while you're getting cards from your graveyard, so you can put more woe encounters on Animar. It's just a whole bunch of fun all around. Slip out the back also puts one encounter on Animar and phases it out if somebody does decide to remove it. Shared summons tutors up two creatures with different names. I don't know, Artisan of Kozilek and Kozilek Butcher of Truth. Maybe. Invigorating Surge doubles the amount of one encounters on Animar because that's also hilarious. Heroic Intervention to keep it out on the battlefield. Growth Spiral just to ramp out a little bit more. Fierce Guardianship and Deflecting SWAT as just get out of here if somebody decides to remove Animar. Beast Within, just a removal spell. But enchantments are fun. Everybody loves enchantments. Or some Surge and Impact Tremors have already talked about, doing a bunch of damage. Tribute to the World Tree also. Creature with power 3 greater enters, which are going to be a lot of your big stuff. You draw a card, which is, I think, pretty cool. Or you put 2/1 counters on it, like Animar, for example. Animar is a 1/1, but enters with 2/1 counters on it, meaning your creatures already cost 2 less to cast for literally just having an enchantment out. Teamer Ascendancy, creatures you control have haste, so you can immediately bonk with all your really big stuff. Creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, you draw a card. Hey, card draw. We love it. Simic Ascendancy also just kind of wins you the game if you just keep playing creatures and Animar. Beginning your upkeep, if this has 20 or more growth counters on it, you win the game. Excuse me. Absolutely insane. Easy way to just end the game out of nowhere. Hydra's Growth constantly just doubles the amount of one counts on Animar. Like, oh, lovely. Hardened Scales. Also, every time you put a one counter on Animar, it gets another one as well. Garrick's Uprising draws you cards and gives your creatures trample. Branching Evolution doubles the amount of one counters put on your stuff. But we're not here for any of that hoo-ha. We're here for the creatures. And what kind of, because there's a lot of the smaller creatures, just like nobody really cares all that much at the end of the day. But Void Winnower, your opponents just can't even. Vizier of the Menagerie allows you to play more creatures. Ulamog, the Infinite Gyre. Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger. Tyrant Guard, giving your stuff hexproof and indestructible. Surek and Goreclaw, giving your creatures trample and plus 1/1 counters and haste stuff. We are playing stuff like Peregrine Drake to untap 5 lands because paying 1 blue and untapping 5 lands is insane value. We have stuff like Maelstrom Wanderer to cascade twice and give stuff haste. Kozilek, Butcher of the Truth, just draws you a bunch of cards. Forgotten Ancient, also, just every time somebody casts a spell, you can just throw those one counters on something else. Itali, Primal Conqueror, can just all of a sudden flip into an 11 level with Trample, Indestructible, and Infect, basically. I mean, freaking Clarice goes infinite in this deck with Cloudstone Curio. I find that to be hilarious. Uh, Stuff like Artisan of Kozilek, like I've said, Apex Devastator cascading 4 times. That's nuts. Ancestral Statue also just allows you to replay a whole bunch of stuff, allows you to bounce stuff here and there. This deck is way too good. I understand why people don't like playing against it because there's sometimes you just can't deal with it and your board just gets flooded with a bunch of just really big creatures out of freaking nowhere. But having an average mana value of 3.49 and having this kind of color distribution, because obviously green is the best color, uh, well, I'd say it's tied with black. I would argue with people with that. But if you guys like the deck, please make sure to like and subscribe and comment down below. If you like or don't like this deck, I don't know. Maybe I'll give it a heart and a thumbs up. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next deck tech. Comment you said? Best deck of the generation? Where's Crankle Mob Boss and Gaddock Teague? I know. All right. I already have a Crinko Mob Boss deck. I made it a long while ago. Here, let's even show you. Let's go to advanced commanders. Go. My boss. Search. Because everybody and their mother has made a Krenko deck. Oh yeah, I remember. Krenko likes Dairy Queen. Go watch that video if you want. I think this video is hilarious because this is the time when I was making deck names that made literally 0 sense. Like Krenko likes Dairy Queen. Does he? I don't know. Did it's Dairy Queen. Like this deck is hilarious because it's not even that good. It's just goblins being goblins, and goblins go bonk. Just maximizing the amount of goblins you make and just doing whatever you want. Is Goblin Lackey in here? Because yeah, Goblin Lackey. Remember this card that can turn to out a Muxus? Where are you, Muxus? There you are. Like, you can literally turn 2 play a Muxus for no reason other than, oh, you didn't have a creature, turn 1, I bonk you. I hit you for 1, and then I Muxus. What else? What else is there? Goblin King. Ooh, woo. It gives 1/1 and Mountain Walk. Lovely. Oh, yeah, gobos. Gobos are just fun. Yeah, gobos are funny. Funny. But no, you want stacks? It's time to talk about Winota. Well, well, well. So you wanted to play stacks, but you wanted to look at players and say, "I'm not playing blue white. I would never. I'm I'm playing a very fair game with very fair cards and you just it's a skill issue." Before we get into this video, please make sure to like and subscribe because making this deck, I even hated making this. It hateful, it hurts. But we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, so please subscribe. And if we get to 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year, I might make a special video. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But we're talking about Winota join our forces today. I know. CEDH is calling, and Winota's here. 4 mana, 4/4. Whenever a non-human creature you control attacks, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may put a human creature card from among them on the battlefield tapped and attacking. It gains indestructible until end of turn and put the rest of the cards on the bottom of your library in a random order. So, we need mostly humans. So, that's why 19 humans, because it's funny. So yeah, like half of the deck is humans, and the other half aren't even that bad. I mean, this is just stacks galore. And if you like stacks, then you'll like this deck. I mean, even the non-humans, like Wingmare, makes non-creature spells cost 1 more to cast. Annoying. Talia Heretic Cathar. Annoying. Stacks piece. Look, stacks piece. Stacks piece. More stacks pieces. This is Skrelv just creates chaos. All right. Skrelv swings in. Signal Pest, unblockable stuff that just bonks your opponents and gets you another human. Sarah Ascendancy is just a free 6x with lifelink that you can play on turn 1. It's insane. Uh, Look at that. Just keeps your creatures out on the battlefield. Stacks piece. Gets more creatures and opponents can't cast non-creature spells. So stacks piece. Ragavan. Insane. Just nutty. Also triggers Winota. Professional Facebreaker. Gives card advantage, more mana. Look, Phyrexian Roker, Stacks Piece, Phoenix Chick, constant triggering of Winota, Ornithopter of Paradise, uh, mana and Winota trigger. Odric, Master Tactician, fucking annoying card is what I say. Mural Shield of Argive, Stacks Piece also gives you more creatures. Mother of Runes, is a fuck you card. Magus the Moon, stacks piece. Loyal Apprentice triggers Winota. Legion Warboss triggers Winota. Hushbringer triggers Winota while also being a stacks piece. Hope of Gear Repair triggers Winota, stacks piece. Goblin Rabble Master triggers Winota. Give her runes. Fuck you. Geist Honored Monk helps trigger Winota, becomes a really big creature, also is triggered by Winota. Either Swarm Canoness stacks peace, because fuck you. Magistrate stacks peace. Doorkeeper Thrall stacks peace and triggers Winota. Dockside Extortionist, mana and triggers Winota. Dauntless Dismantler stacks peace. Captain of the Watch gets you more triggers off Winota, while also being triggered by Winota because it's a human. Boromir gets triggered by Winota, stacks peace, and gives indestructible sometimes. Blade Historian gets it out and gives your creatures double strike. Because why not? Aven Mind Sensor stacks peace, triggers Winota. Archon of Myria stacks peace, triggers Winota. Angrith Marauders, fuck this card. You can get it out turn 4, and source you control will deal damage to a player, deals double that damage to the permanent player instead. Why? Why is thing? And then we got even the really good stuff. Tormod's Crypt, Prevention Against Graveyard Shenanigans, Thorn of Amethyst, stacks piece. Then Mana Rock, Swift Boots, because obviously, Mana Rock, Lightning Graves, because obviously, Mana Rock, Aether Vial, because it's just too good to pass up. Even the enchantments, stacks piece, triggers Winota, stacks piece, peaks. Teferi's Protection protects your stuff. Removal, stacks piece, protection, freaking tutor, because why not? Protection, removal, gives your creatures indestructible and ends the turn. Because why not? Like, well, it gives you an extra turn. Because even more Winota triggers, you can just end the game. Because why not? Chroma's Will just ends the game. Conjure, Acolyte of Flame, gives you more triggers with that 0 ability. Because 2 elementals that gain haste, which means you attacked with 2 non-human creatures, which means you get 2 humans, which are probably going to be stacks pieces. Vandal Blast, removal, Jessica's Will, yeah. Faithless Looting, because it's Faithless Looting. Blasphemous Act, because if you wanted to Chance for Glory, Blasphemous Act, that is completely viable, and then bonk in, kill your opponents. Even the lands are just not fun. You're only wanting 28 of them, because the average mana value is 2.26. Because you don't need that many, because you also have Aether Vial. But this deck is insane. It makes you lose friends, and it's just funny overall, because I've literally just gone through and said the exact reason why each card is in this deck. And it's literally protection. There's like a tutor in there. So yeah, it's protection, stacks piece, triggers Winota, or is triggered by Winota. The moment you have Winota out, your opponents just kind of cry, because there's nothing they can do except board wipe. But having this kind of be the color distribution, because white is just has more cards, has a lot more stacks pieces. This is Winota joining forces, and I see why people ban this at tables, because it's way too good. Nobody should like playing against this. And Winota is even banned in, what is it, Pioneer? It's in a format. Banned in at least a format. But you can't ban greatness, because if you're playing this against people, you have told them that you do not like them and you want to have fun, and they will not have fun. But if you guys did manage to like the deck, or if you want it, comment down below. If you want the deck list, if you want to watch your opponents suffer, then please make sure to like and subscribe. Comment down below if you want the deck. And I guess I'll see you guys in the next deck tech. Dun 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 dun. Dun, 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 boom, ba-dum, boom, boom. Man, I have been through I've talked about 7 different decks today. And now I need to talk about an 8th. And I sat there and played what is it? Played Memory Magic with a friend yesterday. That was fun. Where you just keep naming cards that you can play until eventually you just yeah, you have fun. Like, I sat there and said, "Alright," I immediately play on your upkeep. Pre-game action play Leyline of Anticipation. Um, Upkeep, I play a what is it? I play a Lotus Petal and a Black Lotus. What is it? Yeah, I play Black Lotus, Lotus Petal, um, crack Black Lotus for blue, crack Lotus Petal for black. I play a Thassa's Oracle, holding priority, playing a uh, demonic consultation. Um, and then he said a force of will, and then I say I play force of negation. Um, and then he said I play pact of negation. I say with that one blue remaining, I play was it spell pierce? And and he said, "Fuck you. How could you lose before I even get to my main phase?" And I say, "Because it's not fun, because this game is hilarious." Or I could have just said, I will pregame action. Um, no, I don't yeah, pregame action, ley line of anticipation into upkeep, play a what is it? Play a flash, getting out Protean Hulk, and then he said, "All right, we did the whole song and dance uncounterable. I got the Protean Hulk, sacrificed it to then what is it? To then get the Disciple of the Vaults, and then Hangerback Walkers, Walking Ballistas, um, because those are the only X creatures I can remember off the top of and endless ones. Yeah, so sacrifice 12 times 4. Um, I dealt 48 damage to him at his upkeep. Memory Magic is fun, guys. If you ever want to play it, you literally sit there and it is a game of tic tac toe. It's literally all right, whoever goes first is probably either going to lose or win. Um, or if you want to play a modded version of it, you both start with a ley line of anticipation. You literally have to play every single counterspell and mana rock you could possibly think of before your opponents can, because you can only have one copy of a card per game. So if I play Force of Will, your opponent cannot play Force of Will. Aha. It's fun. Especially if you just know more cards than your opponent. And that's the reason why I stayed up till midnight last night playing that game. Do I even want to talk about this deck right now? I think I am way too tired. I've sat here and talked for like an hour and 20 minutes. So I think I'm actually going to end the stream. Thank you all, whoever joined, so much for watching. And I will see you guys in the next stream.